What's up guys, I'm Nathan and this is the updated anime dimensions tier list with the new ranking method which you guys voted for in the polls. Well, I know it's kinda late, but yeah, anyway guys, S tier now in this updated thing is just going to be for meta characters and characters that are at least in the top 5, meaning there'll be a lot fewer characters in S. A tier is going to be the characters that are good even for pro players, but probably not meta actually. B tier is going to be characters that are very good, or rather the best characters for beginners. C tier is going to be the characters that are okay for beginners, and D tier is going to be the characters that are bad even for beginners. So starting off with Tengen. Tengen is going to be in S tier still. He is one of the best characters, kind of like a weaker version of Esper because he's good at everything. He's actually a very good assist, definitely in the top 5 because he does have a very quick cooldown on it of just 65 seconds. And of course you can also get an additional 30% critical damage on every crit of that ability, even with the assist. And as a main also he's definitely not too bad. He's got good mobility, a dash skill and an ultimate that makes you not only move around but also make you move faster. So he's actually quite solid for dimensions as well. So yeah, he's going to be a nice S tier. Rengoku is going to be A tier. This is the awakened form. It's okay. I mean, Purgatory is basically going to be doing about the same damage as most of the other awakenings, and it's going to give him 25% additional damage, or rather additional attack. So I mean, it's a decent one, but it's probably not going to be an S tier. Broly is going to be an S tier because he is the highest damaging assist. However, his cooldown is also going to be 90 seconds, and he also has a huge AoE, so yeah, he's definitely going to be in the top 5 assists. Levi is going to be like top 8 tier because he is actually quite good with his awakening. His awakening is going to give you 25% critical chance and 25% critical damage and increased M1 range as well as speed, which is just overall really good. However, his base stats itself are probably not the strongest. Gilgamesh is going to be comfortably in S tier as well because he's one of the best assists for dimensions because of his AoE and the fact that there's not too much of a wind up before he actually starts damaging them. So this also is one of the highest damaging assists. However, it does have a cooldown of 90 seconds. Shadow Eren is probably going to be like top 8 tier because it's just, well, it's not going to be that great. It's definitely not going to be meta for anything because the only thing, the regular Eren is actually going to be in S tier, like bottom S tier. He's not really top 5 even for anything. However, he is one of the best characters for time challenge just because of the fact that he's got a lot of AoE. But after the nerf, which involves his first and second abilities giving very little pet energy, he's definitely not going to be one of the stronger ones anymore. So like earlier in my previous tier list I did put Eren a lot higher, but that's because S tier is just for overall, but now S tier is going to be meta only, and Eren is a meta for or sort of meta for a mode that isn't really used by many people. Diablo is going to be one of the best characters for beginners because his assist is going to grant you invincibility or iframes. Kokushibo is going to be in A tier because he is okay. He's actually very good for dimensions, but well, there are characters that are better even for dimensions, which is why I wouldn't say he's going to be in S tier. The reason Shadow Eren is not going to be in S tier is because time challenge means you need to be quick, and getting a 15% cooldown increase is really bad. Demon Lord Rimuru is going to be like bottom A tier. This is the Shadow Rimuru. Honestly, this is going to be in top B tier only because it does heal you, it does give you iframes, but it doesn't deal much damage, and it's an increased cooldown version of the normal Rimuru. Shadow Monarch obviously is going to be S tier. You can spam dash, you can get 100% crit chance. What more is there to say? Yorichi is going to be a pretty comfortable A tier. He basically is quite good for dimensions, does decent damage, but probably not the best character, not the best raid character either. He used to be meta because his assist used to have a glitch that lets you bypass standing still, which is why Yorichi was part of many glitch combos, but that's kind of like nerfed. I mean, it's removed. Then we have Luffy, who's going to be in A tier, right there. He's a decent character, but doesn't do insane damage and isn't really too crazy on the mobility side either. He's an okay character. He's no longer limited, so there's that. Priestess is going to be like bottom A tier. I mean, actually, this is the Awakened Priestess. Awakened Priestess is not terrible because her awakening move actually has one of the higher damages for some reason. Plus it does heal. She's obviously the best support. So yeah, I mean, probably bottom A tier should be fine. Infinity Gojo is going to be probably in like bottom A tier because this is a shadow version with 15% worse cooldowns. And the thing is, normal Gojo itself had a problem on his cooldowns, and even for normal Gojo it was felt that there was just bad cooldown because first two moves have 8 seconds, and taking that with increased cooldowns is not a good combination. Nezuko is going to be a solid S tier because she's really a boss killer. She's decent for dimensions as well because of how fast she kills bosses, even though she doesn't have much mobility. Really good on raids, really good assist. Yeah, definitely a solid S tier. This Saber is going to be like bottom B tier. Like, this awakening is not really worth to get. I know it is the highest damaging awakening, but her base stats, her base skills itself aren't good. So it's really not worth spending the awakening gems, which you can only use to awaken 2 characters. It's just really not worth it. This one is obviously going to be right there in A tier. Pretty solid one. It's going to give you an additional 25% attack. It doesn't do much damage, but Luffy's base stats itself aren't too bad. Kirito's awakening is going to probably sit around here. It doesn't really do much damage, and it also just gives him additional M1 range. So overall, not a very good awakening, and I don't really recommend for you guys to get it. Then we have Milim, who's going to be top S tier because she is like the second to first best raid character if you use her along with Kurumi. And if you pair that with another player using Astolfo, which is going to give you additional critical chance and stuff, then that'll actually make her deal slightly more damage than Shadow Monarch, which is quite insane. But of course you do need that vital condition because Milim benefits a lot more from critical chance than Shadow Monarch does for obvious reasons, because one of his skills actually gives you 100%, which is what makes him good. Then we have Esdeath, who's going to be like right about there in A tier. She does solid damage with huge AoE, but not really, kind of lacking on the mobility side in my opinion, which is why she's just going to be about here in A tier. Then we have Karakuri, who's going to be lower on A tier because his moves allow you to, his ultimate allows you to spam the first 3 moves. Not a big fan of that because his ultimate also has a really long cooldown, and like I said, you have to just spam the first 3 moves. Might as well use Eren, where his second move itself will let you spam the first 2 moves. Regular Levi is probably going to be like right about here. Regular Levi is, I mean, it's okay. He's got a lot of mobility, that's for sure, but not really that broken or anything. Misaka is going to be right there in B tier. Pretty good character for beginners, good mobility, decent damage, but not really great AoE and not a good assist. Naruto is going to be a solid S tier because he's also one of the best assists. He's going to be dealing decent damage with a 75-second cooldown, which is really good. Then we have the regular Infinity Gojo, who's probably going to be right about there. The regular Infinity Gojo is okay. His ultimate will also allow you to spam the first 2 moves, but like I said, his damage is really lacking. Then we have Ryuko, who's going to be right about there in S tier. She is one of the best assists with 60-second cooldown and decently good damage, and additionally pretty solid main as well. Then we have Alice, who's going to be just top B tier, I guess, because Alice isn't really that good. She's only, I would say, for beginners because she does heal you and she does give you a lot of iframes, but I feel honestly like you can even do more damage output with Primordial. Like Alice is just the worst character. Definitely do not buy it. Then we have Esper, who's going to be a comfortable S tier because Esper is one of the best for dimensions, one of the best assists because of the 75-second cooldown, and also literally no wind up, like it immediately starts doing damage, and good AoE. So it's just such a good all-rounder, even very solid for raids as well. So yeah, solid S tier for Esper. Then we have Witch Megumin, who's going to be a pretty nice, pretty comfortable A tier. She's pretty good. She's got huge AoE, but not many people have her, so it doesn't really matter. Then we have Rengoku, the regular Rengoku, who is just going to be about A tier right there. His assist is still quite helpful, so I'm actually going to put him a bit higher. But yeah, that's going to be the position of Rengoku's without awakening. Then we have Saber, the regular Saber. That's going to be C tiered for sure because the regular Saber doesn't deal good damage, doesn't have mobility, doesn't have good AoE, doesn't have good iframes. It's just not worth it. Bakugo is also going to be C tier. Actually, these characters are going to be D tier because these characters aren't even good for beginners to use. Even for beginners, I would recommend for you guys to use better characters because this is going to be a stricter ranking. We're going to have most of the characters concentrated in D tier because they're just garbage. We have here Yu-Gi-Oh, who's a pretty solid assist, pretty huge AoE on the third and fourth abilities. He also heals and has a very good dash. Honestly, a pretty solid character to use for beginners. Then we have the regular Gojo, who's honestly going to be like right about here. He's definitely going to be better than Shadow Gojo because with an extremely high critical chance and critical damage, you can in fact do a lot of damage that would even put him in top A tier or bottom S tier. But I mean, not many beginners are really going to have that much, which is why I'm not going to put him actually in that position. Kaneki is okay. I wouldn't say D tier because he does have a dash move and his ultimate does allow you to spam. He just doesn't do much damage and it's just not enough. Megumin is actually not terrible because she does do a solid amount of damage. It's just that she really lacks in mobility and AoE. Actually, I just put her top D tier. She's also really not worth using even for beginners. Shadow Yorichi is going to be around, it's going to be like right there in A tier. Not a terrible character, but it is having that increased cooldown. Then we have this dude, now Fumi. He is a support, but like he's a bad support. Just get Priestess for the same cost and you can heal. So I'm actually gonna make this guy even lower. He's really bad. Genos is actually not terrible for beginners. He's actually quite good. He's got like a good moveset and pretty solid damage. Then we have Todoroki, who's going to be like actually quite decent for beginners, decent assist, but I would not say he's among the best. Then we have Vampire Toga, who's going to be in D tier, not really that worth it. So is Winter Spirit Leah. These both are limited characters that aren't really that good and most people just got them for the stat collection points. Then we have Zenitsu, who's a slightly worse version of Bakugo, because they both have like really fast mobility and really bad damage. Then we have Emiya, who's honestly not even that bad, pretty good for the price of 800 gems. I'll put him in a solid position. He's got a good moveset, but he's just lacking a really good dash skill in my opinion. Then we have Summer Karakuri, who's going to probably be right about here in A tier. He's okay in terms of mobility, does decent damage, probably better than the normal Karakuri, but that's about it. And he's also a pay-to-win character, so probably don't spend Robux for this guy. Plus, even when you spend Robux, you're going to have to grind a bit unless you spend even more Robux. Rimuru is going to be solid C tier because he does have big AoE, but he isn't really the best. Not really the best. Then we have Asuna, who's going to actually be quite good in my opinion because she has 2 dash abilities. Second move does pretty decent damage and the ultimate is movable. Like she has one of the best mobility in the game, not counting Shadow Mana because spam dashes. Then we have Zoro, who's actually a pretty good character for his cost as well. We have All Might, who's going to be not bad as well. Like, I would not say he's complete garbage just because of his price. Rukia is going to be kind of bad. Honestly, better than Nofumi, but not really that good. She does get an extended M1 move, but AoE on these characters is really bad. Shinra is actually, you know, All Might I'm gonna move down. All Might isn't that good actually. Shinra is going to be not too bad because he does have good mobility and stuff. It's just that his ultimate has really bad AoE. Sukuna is going to be like bottom C tier. He's okay, but these ones are just better options if you're looking for budget. Which is why I'm actually going to go ahead and move him to top D tier, in fact. Gray is going to be right about here. Sasuke is going to be above Gray and Rukia probably. Gray is also going to be above Rukia. Sasuke does have an ability that grants you extra mobility, the Chidori, which is not too bad. Akaza is going to be right about here, honestly better than Gray in my opinion, because the thing is Akaza's ultimate will allow you to use your first 3 abilities once again, so you can actually use them like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, kind of like Esper but worse. So honestly Akaza, I've got pretty good times on speed raid with him, surprisingly. Asta is going to be like right here. He's better than Gray in my opinion. Itadori is even better than Asta. Tanjiro is going to be in the middle of the two. He's not that great. Natsu is going to be about here. He does do solid damage for the cost. Sakura is honestly not terrible because she does. You're actually really difficult to kill when you use Sakura. Surprisingly difficult to kill. I'll move Naofumi up a bit more because it's not really fair to put him below all these characters. Then we have Killua, who's going to be about there. I'm not really ordering these characters because they're all garbage. Goku, Ichigo is actually better than some of these lower characters. Honestly, not terrible. Gray is probably slightly better than Ichigo though. Luffy is going to be worse than even Goku because his AoE is garbage. And damn, okay, have run out of space. Naruto is going to be right here. He's okay, but Ichigo is a better starter. Deku is going to be right above Goku because Goku is just slightly worse. Then we have the regular Kirito without Awakening, which is going to be somewhere like bottom of A tier. Maybe right about there because he does have solid mobility and stuff. So it's going to be like over here, to be fair. Yeah, right about there. Then we have Lancer, who's going to be like again top D tier because he does have insane mobility, but like why do you want that? Because his AoE is really bad, damage is bad too. Regular Demon Lord Rimuru is going to be like bottom A tier. Actually just top B tier because again it's just very good for beginners. I wouldn't say he's even decent for pros. Then we have the regular Priestess, who's also going to be right about here, good for beginners because you know the support and stuff that helps. Then we have Saber, who's going to be also quite decent but not going to be among the best for beginners. Then we have Shadow as Death, who's going to be like bottom of of A tier. She's okay. Astolfo is going to be right about there in A tier because like I said, to make Milim good, you do need Astolfo. And that's pretty much it for the Steelers. So thank you guys for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already. And let me know if there's anything you disagree with because this is a new format of ranking the characters after all. And the opinions would be appreciated. But that's pretty much it for this video. So join the Discord server if you want to. Once again, subscribe. And I'll catch you guys on the next video. See ya.